With me, I have someone very special who introduced the whole idea of getting unstuck and really helped me get unstuck a few years ago with my anxiety. And since then, we've become great friends, and she actually co-leads the Deep in Defense Mode live seminars with me. So please welcome Eva Angvert Harren. Hello.
Hi, Danny. Hi, I'm Eva, and I work with people and help them become really emotionally and mentally balanced. And I do that through a process that has really proven itself being so helpful. I'm also a mother of two wonderful girls, one just a neurotypical girl who does everything she's supposed to, and I also have another girl. The older one is a nonverbal learning disabled girl. They are both now 22 and 24, and we have a fabulous relationship. And only because I finally got unstuck.
But it didn't used to be that way, right? I remember you talking to me several times, and you've talked about this a lot at our seminars, that you weren't always this parent that had this amazing relationship with your daughters.
I actually had a daughter in 1990, and I had to turn off the life support on Christina in 1990. And that put me on a journey of healing. Before Christina, I had used vodka as medication, and after Christina, that wasn't going to work anymore. I had to find another way to heal. And through 16 years of searching and trying to find all kinds of different models in how can I, number one, stand myself, but also stay emotionally and mentally balanced enough for my children who I had now. After you lose one child, you become extremely scared and reactive, and your behavior is not a model mom. And after 16 years, I stumbled on a process that taught me to become body aware. It was the strangest revelation for me, and suddenly, after my first kind of aha, it felt like I came out of water. I just suddenly, I got a breath and I came alive. It was actually a wonderful experience, and that's after 16 years of therapy, workshops, and all kinds of different methods to try to teach me to live with myself.
So you became body aware in 2006, right?
2006.
And then now, I mean, it's a decade later, so what does your work consist of now?
What I do right now, I help people to become more body aware. But what really is women like me, moms who have a hard time dealing with their children, just because we don't really understand. They don't come with directions, and it's a very scary place to be. And I didn't know that I had my own issues. I had my own unresolved problems from my past that I really unconsciously just downloaded onto my children. And it wasn't until 2006, when they were 12 and 13, when I finally came to and realized, oh, I have to learn to take care of my problem and not dump it on my children. And slowly, I just feel unbelievably so much better now.
The interesting thing is for me is that it was the exact same thing. I have to learn to own my problem and not dump it on my parents. And then, oh, I feel so much better now. So the process works for both parent and child. And really, I mean, have you found anyone that this doesn't work for?
So far, I have not had an experience with anybody that didn't really almost got an aha. It's very strange when you go through the process and you suddenly just say, oh, that's it. Every human being is able to connect with themselves. It's just that we don't know.
And we don't know to such a degree that I talked about this a little bit in the last video, where we fight and we fight and we fight ourselves and fight ourselves and fight ourselves. So no wonder we're having all these issues, because we're fighting ourselves all the time. And then we're so exhausted from fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting that we don't have any energy for anything else.
Well, my life was like living on an earthquake. I had to use up all my energy and all my attention just so that I didn't fly off the handle, just so that I didn't scream at my kids in the sandbox or was reactive or anything. I used up so much energy to control my anxiety, and I didn't know what to do about it.
That was me too. I mean, I've talked about the fact that I had panic attacks for so long, and what it was, Eva, though, was exactly as you said. It was you use so much energy trying to control your anxiety or your fear or your depression or whatever it is that is the thing for you. A lot of people just have a control issue, right? I need to control everything. And when you start going, okay, I don't need to fight myself, and I can, as we say, be with that and just sort of sit with it, the body regulates itself, and suddenly, whether you're a parent dealing with, I need to, oh my God, my kid, I don't know what's going on, or whether you're someone with Asperger's, it just feels extremely disconnected. When you start allowing stuff to happen, that is when the true magic happens, right? So what was your relationship with your daughters before this versus after this?
Well, since I have my own issues, and since I'm also somewhere on the spectrum, I had not learned as I grew up how to deal with my emotions. I had a pretty violent past, so I was reactive all the time. Whatever my daughters did, either one of them, I reacted. I didn't have the ability to sit with myself. I didn't have the ability to think before I spoke. I just reacted. So the slightest little, have you done your homework? And if they haven't done it, I would just go off. Because in my world, I was always afraid of the outcome. What would happen if this and this and that was not done?
And that was my world as well. It was, it was what would happen. I was like scared of dying. And he's like, what would happen if I die right now? Oh my God, and this massive panic attack would ensue. And I've used this process for getting unstuck from panic attacks, but I've also used this process from getting unstuck with self-worth issues. You helped me with that one, thank you. And through a whole bunch of different areas of my life where it's like, okay, I'm having trouble with finances and I'm stuck there. And you think that it's something related to how you're thinking or what you're doing, but it's not. It's related to what your body is feeling in that moment. So we're going to demonstrate how all of this works on a real level, because it's not thoughts you think. It's emotions that you feel. Whether you're a parent or a teacher or someone with Asperger's, it's the emotions that make you and do stuff that you don't necessarily want to do that keep you in that stuck place. So this is a plasma globe. In order to see it, we're going to turn down the lights here and demonstrate to you exactly what goes on.
So if you think about your nervous system and your body as a pressure cooker, you have some liquid in, and you put a lid on, and you put it on the stove, and you turn the heat on. Boom, you're born. And if you consider this to be just a normal, regular nervous system, kind of on simmer, your life goes on, you have a good life. If you ever need to relax or check out a little, you can read a book or have a glass of wine. But then there are those of us, including me, who had a life with much more pressure. And if you have pressure, challenges, trauma, even just overwhelming sensations in your body, then your nervous system looks more like this. You need more than a glass of wine. You need more than just sitting and reading a book. You need a lot of distractions to avoid feeling what you're feeling in your body. And your thinking becomes often obsessive. So for an example, Danny, if you would put your hand back here and show that's a perfect example of an obsessive thought in a body that is just on fire. So all we pay attention to is that particular thought. And with a nervous system that is so alarmed and so tense all the time, this thought has a tremendous power over you. And even like we learn, we can replace it with a positive. I'm going to put my hand on to try to replace that thought with a positive. So I put it over here, and if you notice, I have very little power. I can't really replace it with a positive because the body is reacting and the body is on high. Instead of doing that, we need to turn down the heat, meaning We need to truly become emotionally and mentally regulated. And we can do that by releasing the nervous system and help the body to calm down. And then we're back to a normal nervous system. And as you see, the hand has no longer any effect, meaning the obsessive thought is gone. It has no power over you when you can just connect with yourself.
So what Eva meant by a lot of that, because when she first explained it to me, I was a little bit confused, is that you have the pressure cooker, the plasma globe here, and that represents your nervous system and all the thoughts and feelings that are happening, and your feelings are informing you stuff all day long. And the minute you go, whoa, hold on, stop, I can't handle this anymore, and try and push it down, that's when that actual pressure builds, and that's when it goes from a lower state where it's just hidden a few rays to and blows up because you put the lid on. Because you said, no, I can't handle that, stop, I don't like this feeling, it goes, okay, and then it starts to boil over and boil over and boil over, so that when you get an obsessive thought, you can't deal with it anymore. If you take the lid off and you allow all the feelings to come and go without resisting them and without fighting them, then that is what allows you to turn down the pressure so that you can just move forward and you don't have any sticking points at all. And to me, the first time I saw it, it was like, wait, so you're saying the fact that I'm resisting the sensations is actually sort of the problem? Yes, that is exactly what I am saying. The sensations themselves, the emotions, the sensations, all the stuff that's happening in your body is not actually bad. It seems like it's bad, and it very, very much feels like it's bad. But it only feels like it's bad because you are actually resisting it. The getting unstuck process is all about turning down the pressure and learning to trust those sensations so that you can move forward in your life. It is very simple and very, very easy to do. And what we'd like to do now is teach you a very simple method for in the short term dealing with this. Getting unstuck is something that is very long term and goes on for years, but Eva has another thing called stop, drop, and check, which is very, very short term that you can all practice right now.
If you think about it, if you're in a situation any kind of day and suddenly something happens that gets you nervous, or maybe you feel your anxiety a little more, if you stop, scan your environment. Question number one, am I safe? If you feel safe, then you drop. You can literally close your eyes if you're comfortable, or just keep them open, and you drop, meaning you exhale. You just, and then you check. What am I feeling in my body? Let go of the situation, let go of anything, and just, what am I feeling in my body? When you start noticing that, if you can allow those feelings, maybe a little pressure in your chest, maybe you have a little stomach ache, maybe you even feel your throat is closing up, whatever it is, if you can just allow that to be there right then, and then you can choose your respond. Then you can, oh, now I know what I'm doing. So you stop, look around, scan, am I safe? You drop, and you check. How am I feeling in my body? And then you choose.
And it's a very simple way of allowing yourself to turn down your own pressure. Because you feel these things, you just go, okay, well, that's just a feeling. Like, a lot of me, when I was first told, well, no, stop resisting it, but then when it overwhelmed me, and here's the thing, does resisting it actually make it better? Like, think about any time in your life, if you are uncomfortable, does resisting the sensation make it better and make it go away? Or does it actually make the sensation bigger and more pronounced and a bigger problem? Think about that for a second. Because when I thought about that, it was like, oh, it actually makes it worse. I can't fight it even if I wanted to. I mean, sure, you could fight it with vodka or drugs or just numbing yourself out, which is what a lot of people with Asperger's do, is just disconnect entirely. But then you're completely disconnected and you have no idea what state your nervous system is. You have no idea. And so now you have no control over any of it. So when you're freaking out, not only are you freaking out even more, you don't even know you're freaking out. And then you're just like, what's wrong with me? So as you start and you turn down the pressure, this is when these things change.